Alright guys, so on the last episode, our encounter with the frozen Esper left Terra basically unscathed. She was knocked unconscious. Vix and Wedge are presumably dead, and luckily for us, an old man in Narshe helped Terra escape, and once she woke up, she was able to recall her name, which is great, but she still has a pretty significant case of amnesia. Pretty much all of the other aspects of her past are still a mystery to us for the vast majority. So at this point, we're just trying to get the hell out of Narshe because the soldiers are looking for us. They want us dead because, to them, we're an officer of the Empire and we're their enemy. So I'm just basically moving through this cave because I am no longer using that super OP Magitech armor. As you guys can see, my damage output is significantly lower and I'm much more vulnerable to attacks. So I'm just trying to move through here as fast as possible without taking too many hits. Just picking up a few small items along the way. So at this point, I am about to remove all of Terra's weapons and armor, and here in a little while you'll see why I did that. But first, I'm going to cut out for about 2-3 minutes, let this cutscene play out. But once this cutscene's over, I'll be back for the rest of the episode, guys. So I'll see you soon. pretty cool little cutscene there. We learned more details about essentially things that we already knew about Terra. We already knew that she was enslaved by the Empire and she was doing things against her will. There was a nifty little cutscene there that further introduces a couple new characters, bad guys, villains that are higher ups in the Empire. Emperor Gestal, of course, was shown, and Kefka. A couple other characters that have yet to be introduced were shown as well. Obviously, some superior officers to Terra. You could see Terra in the background standing next to the Magitech armor, and up front you could see Gestal and Kefka, along with 2 others who have yet to be revealed. However, we have a new party member, guys. Locke Cole. One of my absolute favorites. This guy is just a beast. But whatever you do, don't call him a thief, alright? Like, that's a no-no. Locke does not appreciate being called a thief by any stretch of the imagination. He's a treasure hunter through and through. And what I do real quick is I just kind of speed up this process where I'm rowing some of my party members. I swap out Locke's gear for what I unequipped from Terra earlier, which is going to be useful for this battle. And I thought about equipping Mog with some stuff, but I decided to go ahead and speed up that little bit because not a whole lot to see there. The benefit of rowing some of these characters is some weapons can do full damage from the back row, which is pretty effective. Some of these little Moogles here, they have boomerang-like weapons, throwing weapons, and you can do full damage with those weapon types from the back row. So being in the back row is very good for support characters because it allows them to take less damage and they are much less exposed to certain abilities that enemies have. So this fight is pretty straight up. What happens is you get ganked by the soldiers of Narshe here and some of their minions, and the Moogles swoop in to save the day, because without them you would probably get your ass kicked. And some of these Moogles are pretty cool, especially one of them in particular named Mog, which some of you guys probably are already familiar with. And I'm going to do my best throughout this series not to spoil too much. I mean, the game's been out since '94, and a lot of people have either played it or heard of it, so there are going to be spoilers here and there. But just assuming that there are going to be people, maybe watching just to experience the game because, perhaps they've never played it before and they might be curious about the lore of FF6. Well, for those people, I'm going to do my best not to spoil too much, but Mog, yeah, he's a character that you get to pick up later on. He's an awesome character in the game. He has a really cool ability that's unique to him called Dance, and you actually get to learn your first dance from this encounter. Dusk Requiem, I believe, is the name of the dance, and it can be pretty badass for this boss fight ahead. However, in this particular fight, I choose not to use Mog's party. His party is probably the strongest to use and the easiest to defeat the last boss here in this encounter, but I decided to go with Locke. I know that I'm going to be spending a lot of time with him in the upcoming hours of the game, and I wanted to get him some experience. So that's what I ended up deciding to do there. And obviously, because you have to position your 3 different parties blocking these different pathways, you really want to make sure that the party you choose to attack the boss with here has taken the least amount of blows. And that's what I did for this fight. So I actually made a big mistake here. I just got really hasty and I took out those 2 Lobos right off the bat, but what I forgot is if you take out that Marshal's dogs, if you take out both of them, what happens is he gains a special ability called Charge, and it does a lot more damage than any of his other stuff. So, and there it is right there, Charge, 51 damage. But luckily I had my guys in the back row, and I think that prevented them from getting one-shotted a lot of the times. Yeah, he just kind of starts finishing me off, but I was able to do enough damage to him before he could start, you know, overwhelming me with that charge ability. So I got kind of lucky there. The way you're supposed to do that fight is you're supposed to leave one dog alive and then just work the boss down. But luck was on my side there, so I'm able to advance, and we're officially out of Narshe now, guys. We have some choices we can make. The old man told us to visit Figaro Castle, and that's most likely what I'll do next. But from this point on, you have choices. It's linear in that you can advance the story by doing certain things, and there's no other way to advance the story other than triggering these certain events. But you can now, from this point on, find yourself in situations that you really just shouldn't be in. So it's going to start getting interesting from this point on, a little bit more interesting. I have some plans as to what I want to do, but for now, I believe I will be advancing the story. I'll probably pay a visit to Figaro Castle, which is a really super cool place. Lots of lore in Figaro Castle that I definitely plan on talking about. But for now, guys, I am going to say my goodbyes as we depart from Narshe for the time being, and check out this little beginner's area where you can do some basic things. But anyway, guys, I'll catch you on the next one, and hopefully I'll see you then.